forces in the Indo-Pacific are on high alert against China's blockade of Taiwan and the region. The geopolitical landscape of the Indo-Pacific is becoming increasingly volatile as China's aggressive military maneuvers around Taiwan require heightened vigilance and strategic responses from NATO allies and regional partners such as Japan, South Korea, the Philippines, and Taiwan. The United States of America, Japan, Taiwan, the Philippines, and South Korea, in addition to the United States, are attempting to take concerted action in response to China's military drills and Air Force actions that are taking place on the island. With regard to this matter, the NATO is implementing sensitive policies. The Chinese government, however, has not yet learnt its lesson from the tactics of NATO and has continued to carry out its invasion strategies in and around Taiwan up until this point. Recent revelations have shown that an unanticipated visitor, which has caused the leadership in Beijing to be taken aback, has entered the region with the intention of rebalancing the power dynamics in the Sea of Japan and the Pacific. The guest turned out to be Turkey, which is also a member of the NATO alliance. In a noteworthy turn of events, Turkey, a member of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, took a strategic step by sending the Turkish Coast Guard, TCG, Kinaliada corvette to the region. This decision signified a strong desire to counterbalance the forceful stance of China. The Turkish Navy had already set sail toward the Sea of Japan, where they intended to use the corvette that they had launched from the Aegean side to scare China. The Turkish Defense Ministry made the announcement on April 8th that the Kinaliada had embarked on its journey to East Asia, departing from the Foça naval base located in the western region of the country. This morning, it was noted that the ship has now arrived at the location that was intended for it to go. The first thing that happened was that local media sources in Taiwan stated that an anti-submarine frigate of the Ada class belonging to the Turkish Navy, which has been patrolling near Japan since April, had made its way through the Taiwan Strait. The Turkish Navy's fourth and final island-class corvette, the TCG Kinaliada, arrived in Kushimoto, a local town with historical significance in Turkish-Japanese relations, on the very last day of the week. Kushimoto is situated at the southernmost tip of the Kii Peninsula in the Wakayama Prefecture of Japan. This was the sixth time that a Turkish warship has visited the Asia-Pacific region, as reported by Turkish media. The previous visits were made by the TCG Turgutreis in 1990 and 2000, the TCG Gemlik in 2011, and the TCG Gides in 2015. The visit took place on the occasion of the 100th anniversary of diplomatic ties.
स्टॉक मार्केट इन्वेस्टमेंट पे आपके क्या व्यूज हैं?
I do invest, but honestly speaking, I do not understand.
On the occasion of the 100th anniversary of diplomatic ties and the 134th commemoration of the Ertugrul frigate disaster, which was the event that created the foundations for the friendship between Turkey and Japan. The crew of the Kinaliada participated in a ceremony on June 10th at a memorial that was dedicated to the martyrs of Ertugrul. This event took place during the ship's final port call at Kushimoto. The team was accompanied by Princess Akiko of Mikasa, who, in addition to being the eldest daughter of the late Prince Tomohito, also served as the president of the Japan-Turkey Association. While Princess Akiko was delivering her address at the ceremony, she expressed her hope that the legacy of friendship that had been established by her ancestors would endure for a considerable amount of time. Following its visit to the port of Kushimoto, the 99-meter corvette made its way to Tokyo on June 12th before departing. It was planned that the Turkish battleship will arrive at the Tokyo International Cruise Terminal on June 14th and 15th, and then it would be open to the general public both days. In addition, the Kure Regional Headquarters of the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force made an announcement on the social media platform X on June 7th that the TCG Kinaliada will make a stop at the JMSDF Kure Naval Base in Hiroshima Prefecture on June 19th, and that the base will be available to the general public on that day. A number of countries, including Saudi Arabia, Djibouti, Somalia, Maldives, Bangladesh, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, China, and South Korea, were among those that Kinaliada traveled to before arriving in Japan. In addition to Japan, the Turkish corvette will also make port calls in the following countries: the Philippines, Singapore, Sri Lanka, India, Oman, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Pakistan, and Jordan. The Turkish Navy's recent mission to Japan, including the visit of the TCG Kinaliada corvette, demonstrated the growing cooperation between Turkey and Japan. Turkey's policy, on the other hand, is more than just paying tribute to historical events. It is about building on these foundations to create new links and prospects for cooperation. The planned public relations and tour to the Kura Naval Base near Hiroshima highlight the strategic importance of military diplomacy in the process of strengthening bilateral ties. TCG Kinaliada's voyage to Japan is part of a 4.5-month excursion visiting 20 countries. This extended journey demonstrates Turkey's commitment to increasing its diplomatic and military presence in the Asia-Pacific region. Turkey's decision to embark on this trip demonstrates its devotion. The mission not only includes ceremonial visits, but it also serves strategic reasons, such as providing assistance to anti-piracy activities. TCG Kinaliada visited South Korea before arriving in Japan. This is one of the countries they visited. It is critical to remember that Turkey's involvement in the Korean War is a significant aspect of its long-standing military commitment to East Asian politics. This is not something to be neglected. It is crucial to mention that Turkish soldiers fighting under United Nations command played a major role in the conflict. This was done as a symbol of Turkey's dedication to global peace and stability. Turkey's involvement in the battle resulted in stronger ties with South Korea, contributing to the establishment of a legacy that will last forever. Turkey's strategic reach in East Asia, as evidenced by the mission of the Turkish Coast Guard Kinaliada, has worldwide repercussions for its diplomatic and military policies. By expanding ties with countries in the Asia-Pacific region, the Turkish government is positioning itself to become a key participant in global geopolitical issues. With this strategy, Turkey may achieve its goals of growing alliances and gaining global influence, which are consistent with its objectives. TCG Kinaliada's journey to Japan demonstrates Turkey's commitment to regional stability and security. The corvette is tasked with achieving its mission by assisting anti-piracy activities and facilitating alignment with international endeavors to ensure maritime security. Turkey's proactive role in resolving global security difficulties is highlighted by the fact that it works on these issues with regional allies. This emphasizes Turkey's proactive role in international security. The question that must be answered is whether this corvette, which is equipped with numerous features, is truly capable of carrying out the duties previously established between Turkey and Japan. In July 2017, Turkish engineers successfully launched the Kinaliada corvette, made in Istanbul, into the Mediterranean Sea. Since 2019, it has taken part in naval operations commanded by the Turkish Naval Forces Command. The corvette has a length of 99.56 meters and weighs 2,465 tons. It is measured in meters throughout. It can span 4,000 nautical miles. The multi-purpose ship has anti-submarine and anti-surface combat capabilities. These capabilities are available on board the ship. The Turkish Coast Guard Kinaliada is the first vessel to be outfitted with Turkey's indigenous anti-ship guided missile, Atmaka, manufactured by defense company Roketsan. This is an amazing fact. The missiles on board are capable of hitting their targets from a distance of 220 kilometers, 137 miles. The spaceship undoubtedly has a substantial amount of electricity. The Kinaliada corvette's arrival in Japan has caused discomfort among certain forces. After Turkey's corvette arrived in Japan, the Chinese Communist Party quickly deployed the Type 052D Lishui guided missile destroyer and relocated its observation area from the western to the eastern side of the center line. This occurred in response to the arrival of the corvette. China had never seen a Turkish corvette approach the Sea of Japan before. China was able to see the corvette for the first time. As a result, the possibility that China was delivering an intimidatory message to Turkey became apparent. Turkey continues to make significant efforts in the Pacific region, despite China's aggressive international activities. To understand Turkey's aggressive position against China, it is vital to analyze its fleet. What elements have influenced Turkey's rise to prominence as a maritime power during the last few years? Turkey has made significant investments in modernizing its naval defenses over the last 10 years. These efforts have included boosting the number of warships and military boats. as well as depending on equipment manufactured in the country. With 3 seas on its northern, western, and southern flanks, Turkey has made significant efforts in recent years to bring its navy up to the level of competing with other world powers' naval forces. Turkey's location between Europe and Asia contributes to this. Ankara has not only grown the number of ships and battleships that protect its shores and cruise in international waters in recent years, but it has also prioritized self-sufficiency in order to strengthen its naval forces. This is being done in order to strengthen its naval capability. This suggests that it is beginning to rely on its own internal resources in order to lessen its reliance on resources supplied outside of the country. According to the conclusions of a survey conducted by a famous military-industrial organization, Turkey's investment on research and development has dramatically expanded since 2007, tripling previous levels. The poll was conducted, and the results show that Turkey's expenditure has climbed dramatically. According to the poll results, the figure exceeded $1.2 billion the previous year. The Turkish Navy now has 112 combat boats. However, Ankara aims to add 24 more ships, including 4 frigates, by 2023, the 100th anniversary of the Republic's formation. This will be accomplished by introducing 24 new ships. TCG Anadolu, Turkey's first light aircraft carrier, occupies a unique and prominent position among similar vessels. This allows Turkey to join the aircraft carrier club and eventually become a full member. Despite this, the Anadolu, which will be part of the Navy's active operations this year, is important to Turkey for a variety of reasons. Richard Parley, a military writer and speaker from the United States, said in February that the Anadolu is the largest Turkish warship since the dramatic transfer of TCG Yavuz, a former German battlecruiser, in 1914. Parley's statement was about the magnitude of the Anadolu. The Anadolu will offer the Turkish Navy an unprecedented amphibious assault capability in the Black Sea and Eastern Mediterranean, Parley stated in a media statement. Turkish officials saw the building of TCG Anadolu, Turkey's first aircraft carrier built by a local company, during a visit to Istanbul's port of Tuzla in November 2019. The battleship, built in Turkey by a consortium of Navantia and Sedef Gemi Insa AS, represents Turkey's desire to achieve the same level of dominance in the Mediterranean region as its predecessor, the Ottoman Empire. It also serves as a representation. Along with its length of 231 meters and breadth of 32 meters, the displacement Anadolu will be capable of reaching a speed of 21 knots, which is about equivalent to 39 kilometers per hour. Additionally, it will be 32 meters wide. Because of its full capacity, it must weigh at least 27,000 tons. This scary cruiser is capable of transporting helicopters and drones, as well as 4 mechanized landing craft, 2 air-cushioned landing craft, and 2 landing craft for military personnel. According to Gingeras, who emphasized the importance of these plans, Turkey's plans to build and deploy the Anadolu carrier are an example of Ankara's concerted efforts to strengthen and expand its national defense sector. Turkey's intentions to build and deploy the Anadolu carrier demonstrate this ambition. What is the reason behind Turkey's decision to make such a substantial investment in its navy? Turkey's objective is to compete on an equal footing with its neighbors in the Mediterranean in order to assert maritime rights in the region. The growth of Turkey's naval capabilities is crucial to the protection of the country's critical economic interests, and the country's goal is to achieve this. As a result of the fact that more than 87% of the country's trade is carried out through seaports of entry, and that multiple transnational pipelines run through Turkish territorial waters, Gingeras asserts that the maritime capabilities of the country are becoming increasingly significant in current Turkish thinking. Turkey has recently acquired 2 exploration vessels, the Fatih and the Yavuz, in an effort to develop its offshore technologies and compete with regional rivals in gas and other marine exploration in the Eastern Mediterranean. This is because the Eastern Mediterranean is home to enormous gas reserves that have been discovered. The purpose of these vessels is to be utilized for the purpose of exploration. The Turkish drill ship Yavuz, which is 230 meters in length and was accompanied by a ship from the Turkish Navy, traversed the Sea of Marmara on June 20th, 2019, departing from the port of Dilovasi, which is situated outside of Istanbul, and headed in the direction of the Mediterranean Sea. The goal to establish a claim to natural gas deposits lying off the coast of Cyprus has notably grabbed the attention of those responsible for crafting policy in Ankara. These deposits are located in the Mediterranean Sea. Cengiraz asserts that the most recent indications that planners are attempting to assert more control over the eastern Mediterranean region include the beginning of drilling activities by the Turkish government and reports regarding the development of a new naval station by the Turkish government in northern Cyprus. Both of these statements are based on the fact that the Turkish government has begun drilling activities. In the meantime, Ankara has only lately finalized a significant maritime agreement with the Government of National Accord of Libya, which is acknowledged by the United Nations. By means of this agreement, the powers that are situated in the Mediterranean region were informed that it is impossible to genuinely protect any gas line without the cooperation or approval of Turkey. The Turkish government has set the goal of developing a strong naval presence in all three of its
Navi UPI एक नया payment app है, which is similar to other payments.
in all three of its so-called blue homeland seas in order to safeguard its economic interests and ensure the country's ability to preserve its national security. By simultaneously staging the greatest naval drills in the country, Ankara signaled to the rest of the world that it is serious about establishing a robust domestic naval force. This demonstration took place in the month of March. For the purpose of these activities, more than 100 military warships were deployed across all three seas that Azerbaijan has. Also referred to as blue homeland drills, these exercises are called exercises. A further development is that Turkey has increased its naval presence in regions other than the Mediterranean and other national seas. In addition to gaining access to the Indian Ocean, the Red Sea, and the Gulf, it has also deployed forces to locations as far away as Somalia, Sudan, and Qatar. In a different way of putting it, the Turkish government is currently in the process of reconstructing its naval forces, both in terms of security and economics, and they are well on their way to becoming the most significant role in NATO. To what extent does China enhance its naval capabilities in comparison to those of other nations that are members of the International Military Alliance, particularly Turkey, which is a member of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization? The People's Liberation Army Navy is now better equipped to overtake the United States Navy in a variety of maritime dimensions, sometimes even more swiftly than originally projected. This is a direct effect of China's rapid military growth, which has resulted in China's military becoming more powerful. In the event that China continues to expand its fleet at the same rate that it is currently expanding it, and does not revive the shipbuilding sector in the United States, it will become increasingly likely that China will emerge victorious from the interstate conflict. This is especially true if the fight is a prolonged great power war. It will be difficult to reverse the decline of the United States' maritime dominance, which has been occurring for quite some time. This process has been going on for decades, and it is based on economic and industrial factors that are trending in a slow and steady manner. Nevertheless, the United States is able to continue to keep its lead over its competitors by investing in smaller surface combatants like corvettes, frigates, and unmanned marine systems, in addition to other platforms like aircraft or land-based missile launchers. This allows the United States